So this is just a fun little thought experiment I had. I've seen a lot of people do like, what if X character was a servant? So I figured I'd give it a try with one of my favorite protagonists, Touma Kamijou. Touma Kamijou. Toma would be in like okay. Toma normally would be summoned as a foreigner class servant, although he would have two alternative classes. One, pretender, if he summoned Kamijou no Toma. Second one, which would be a caster class if he summoned him with the Saint Germain virus installed. That doesn't really matter for this video, but yeah, for Toma would also be known as the Imagine Breaker, God of Pestilence, God natural enemy of magic, and the one who purifies God and slays demons. His species would be categorized as human, and I have him also as a false dragon due to, well, if you know, you know. I'll explain that a bit. And with his his alignment would be, I see him as chaotic good because, well, Toma does the right thing, but he does it his way. And to summon him, you would need a fragment of a bone from the right hand. His parameters would be strength. I have strength at a B. He's fairly strong. Endurance an A. Dude just does not want to stay down. Agility I would have at a B plus. He's fairly quick. Mana, I'm not sure how you would categorize that because he's an Esper and also possesses the Imagine Breaker. Luck would be an E minus because, well, it's Toma. And then Noble Phantasms, I have it an EX rank because, well, Imagine Breaker is busted as fuck. For his class skills, he has two. The first one is Existence Outside the Domain, which he only gets because of the Foreigner class. With the second one being, I have Divinity at an EX rank because of, well, the Dragon King and Imagine Breaker, which is the collective hope of all magicians and magic gods. Now, for his personal skills, the first one I have is Instinct at a B. He has some form of precognition, which I would say would work similar, and I see him being at like the same level at about Mordred. Second one is Battle Continuation, which I have at an EX rank. Because, well, this is mainly because of New Testament 9, which I will not spoil. If you want to read it, go read it. It is in my opinion, I think a lot of people agree, the best arc of like all of Sir Magical Index. So yeah, if you know what happens there, having his battle continuation at an EX rank makes sense. He also has Charisma of Hope, which is just a fancy version of charisma because he always seems to inspire hope in people. The example I have written down is the Sisters arc. He also has Present Concealment at a C, which is mainly because he's apparently good at sneaking around, which, you know, makes sense. I also have I also have the Invisible Being as a skill as well. Because if you don't know, the Invisible Being is a creature that resides on Toma's right arm, which comes out whenever the Imagine Breaker is removed. The main two reasons I have it as like a question mark because we really don't know how strong it is. The two examples I've written down for it being strong is its fight against FEMA. I believe that's who he's for, FEMA of the Right, and the World Rejector. I forget. I don't know how to pronounce his name off the top of my head. Then the final skill I gave him was Dragon Shell, which during New Testament Volume 22 is where we're introduced to the character of Kamijou no Toma, which KNT, who steals Toma's Imagine Breaker with Toma's right arm, then forming into like a light bluting, which can unfurl into a dragon-like shape, which also grants him temporarily the mad enhancement skill at C. Now for Noble Phantasms, the first one is obvious. Imagine Breaker, right hand of the Illusion Killer. It's an anti-magic, anti-reality, and anti-servant type Noble Phantasm, with it being rank at an EX. For, well, obvious reasons. It's the Imagine Breaker. It's broken as fuck. Although, why it usually works on supernatural beings and things in general, it's been shown that stuff like ley lines, which while supernatural in nature, are organic, which means they're unaffected. And it's also just a hard counter to most Noble Phantasms. But if you're like a Toria, like if you have like Excalibur or you have like Mordred's what's it called? Mordred's Secret of Pedigree. Because they are physical objects, their effects would be negated, would be cancelled out. So Excalibur couldn't launch the giant laser, and Mordred wouldn't be able to conceal her identity. But they would still be able to use as just like a sword and armor. Well, he does have like I do have two more. I have like one more Noble Phantasm written down, but it's more like two more in one. The first one, they're both known as Dragon Strike. The first one being known as the Eight Heads of the Serpent, which I have as a phantasmal beast type Noble Phantasm at rank A. Pretty much those 8 dragons that appeared in a certain scientific railgun. Each one of them would have their own version of a mana burst. I'm not going to go through all of them here. I will go through them I will write it down in the comments later. Then you got the final. Then you got what I consider his trump card, Dragon Strike, the ruler of dragons. And its type I have listed as Reality Commander. For those of you who don't know, in Genesis Testament volume, fuck, what volume is it again? Okay, I believe it's volume 10 of Genesis. Certain Magical Index, New Genesis. I believe volume 10 is where we get introduced to the Dragon King, which I am considering as Touma's ultimate trump card. For those of you who don't know, the Dragon King has an insane ability to just command reality at its will. For context, Touma was fighting in a hospital. The Dragon King was out. Well, Touma had severed his arm off first. The Dragon King was out, and he was able to command the hospital to move around him so he could reach his opponent. It can also shoot, it scales off as a shotgun. It also seems to have the same ability as a Imagine Breaker to nullify things. And Touma also can eat metal to unleash an attack known as the Magneton Dragon Breath. Although this is a heavy Noble Phantasm coming at a cost, where Touma has a high chance of death after using it, after prolonged exposure to it. So yeah, Touma Kamijou, he's a heroic spirit. I have no idea what the fuck I have no idea what the fuck I was doing for this video, but yeah.